Hello everyone! So before we get started, if you are enjoying the videos and find them informative, why don't you go ahead and think about liking and subscribing? It really does help out, and I want to do this full time. I just want to help y'all learn how to make games. It's what I love to do. And then, once you do that, have a great day. Otherwise, you know what? I still want you to have a great day. So, with that out of the way, this shameless plug, let's get into the video. Alright, our character can move stuff around the inventory now. Now we need to give him some actual things to move around. So we're going to add some crops, a torch, a well, and just some things that we'll be able to plant in the ground and manipulate. So I have added two things to the project. One is this pack. It's free and it has some pretty cool stuff, mainly the food stuff that we're going to be using to be able to plant our crops, but there's also village pieces and all kinds of stuff to really help out in fleshing out the town that we're going to build later on, because we'll need a place to buy items or talk to people and all that jazz. So it's a really nice pack. It's free in the Fab Marketplace. I'll leave a link to this one down in the description. The other thing I've added is the Good Sky. Also free. Really nice sky. It has an automatic day-night cycle, etc. We're going to use this for, the day-night cycle. But it has a lot of really good use. It looks really good too. It can really add to your project. So I'll leave a link to this one below also. And with that done, let's go over into ours. So what we're going to focus on for this episode is getting some more items into our item ID list. So the problem with doing this is the fact that once we adjust this item ID enumerator, this will register changes and consider itself uncompiled. It, in turn, will affect every base item that we have and consider them uncompiled. We're also using this in our UI elements, so once it's changed, we'll consider those other ones also uncompiled. It just snowballs from there and it becomes a huge mess. The best way to affect your enumerator when you're working with structures, it's very easy to break your project. But there is a simple way to do it. So we're going to go into our editor preferences, and we're just going to alter our autosave. We're not going to turn it off because I have a tendency to forget to turn it back on. We're just going to change it a little bit. So the frequency in minutes, I'm going to change this up to about 30 minutes. Interaction delay in seconds. So this is how long after you've let it sit for a few seconds it'll say, okay, we're going to do an autosave real quick. I'm going to bump that up to 1 minute. And the warning in seconds, 30 seconds, just so that when it pops up it'll say you've got 30 seconds to an autosave, and we can disable or let it do it whatever we want to. So with that done, we will click save all and make sure everything in our project is completely saved and up to date, because when we adjust this, everything else will consider itself unsaved, so you'll see. So we're going to go into our, let's get our props that we want to actually. So in the Fantastic Village pack, I'm going to filter to static meshes. You can, if you don't have that, you can click this little descending arrow thing, and then it's right here. I'm going to do that there, but I'm going to make sure I'm in my props folder. So let's grab out the ones we want to use. So they are the bell pepper that grows on a vine. We'll do those kind of crops later. So cauliflower. And we'll add a chicken later on. So we'll add an egg. Garlic. And just kind of go through here and find all the ones you want to use. We'll do some forageables, so we'll have some mushrooms. Onion's a good one. Potato. Pumpkin. Salad. which I'll probably just call a cabbage. Tomato also grows on a vine, but you know what? It's our game. We'll make it grow in the dirt. Turnip and watermelon, and I think that was all of them. But we'll go through, and because there was another thing or two that I thought would be good to go ahead and set out. Oh yeah, one was the well. We'll need that later on so that we can refill our watering can. And then the other one was like a sconce or a brazier. I forget what it referred to it as. Probably at the top. But basically just a light source for when the sun goes down, we'll be able to, there it is. So we'll still be able to see what we're doing. And we'll come back to this later on because we're also going to use the fencing so we can build fence and all that jazz. But for now, this is what we need. So we can get out of this. And we'll save everything so that it stays out here. Then let's go to our ItemID list. Open it up. I'm going to drag it over here to the side. Kind of shrink it like this. One handy thing I did notice when I was doing the preview side of this is that if you adjust these values that are already here, it doesn't seem to break anything. I'm not 100% sure if it would because I was too afraid to risk it. But it seems like if you just add a bunch of list items and then adjust the names, it doesn't quite break it. So adding new enumerators seems to mess with it, but adjusting old ones doesn't seem to. So for instance, when I go in and let's get our list of things, and so I'll add in our potato here. Now you notice that has the star next to it, which means it's unsaved, but the base item does not. But when I add an enumerator, now this has a star next to it like it's been unsaved. So when we add to it, it becomes a problem. But I'll show you the fix. So we'll add our potato, garlic, tomato, pumpkin, cauliflower, turnip, cabbage, onion, watermelon, egg, white mushroom, brown mushroom, torch, and water well, because that'll be a blueprint. We'll be able to place it in the world. So this was cauliflower, turnip, cabbage. Just kind of go through and list them all. Onion, watermelon, egg, white mushroom. Remember, no spaces in this one. Brown mushroom. Then we'll add our torch and our water well. Now we can save this item ID. We just want to save this one. Now you see this has a thing, this has a thing. Well, I guess that doesn't. But when we go to close it, because we are going to just go ahead and close down our project, all of these items, the reason it's wanting to save these is because it considers them uncompiled because they all implement that item structure. Once we've adjusted this, this becomes unstructured, this becomes unstructured. So if we save them, it will register them as a dirty state, and when we try to bring them back up, it'll disconnect all the wires and everything for them. So we don't want to save. I know it goes against everything you feel, but that's why we save before we adjust it. We don't save. And we will go back to that project. There it is. And we'll just wait for it to load back up. Takes a minute. My computer's kind of slow. And now we can see our crops and props are still in this on the floor. Open our item ID list. They're all still there. but when we go ahead and play, we'll still be able to adjust and pick up our UI stuff, so it's still communicating its data across, and all that's well and good. So in the next one, we're going to go ahead and start filling in the item ID, not the item ID, but the actual details of each item. We're going to set up a data table. I'm going to cut this one here because I really want the focus on this one to be how to work with the ItemID Enumerator without breaking the project, because I've gone through so many projects and messed them up. So I want this one to just be kind of short to the point on how to do that without breaking your project. So I will see y'all in the next one. Thank you. Bye.